All right, so here we go. This is my contact information if you ever need to contact me. You can see it right on the screen. If you need to contact me, you can email me or tweet me, whatever you want. But we will not bother with those logistics. We'll get right into it and talk about this very first kind of quote. You probably have heard it a lot. And the quote is, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You see that picture right there. If you were to give it to your students and say, describe what you're seeing, they'd probably have a few different things to say about this picture. It's beautiful, it's majestic. There is just a lot of elevation. The water is flowing down like some type of smoke, even high above the clouds. Lots of trees. You imagine what your students would say. I would say if this picture is worth 1,000 words, then what would a video be worth? So I'm going to play this video real quick, and we're just going to see what we think. So if we were to play this video for our students and have them describe the video, I think they would absorb. I didn't even go a full minute, but this is 40 seconds of the video compared to this picture, right? They probably have a little bit more to say and absorbed a lot more through just that video, that short portion versus just a picture or a set of words that they read. They could read about this and not totally have a picture at all, but looking at the picture gives them so much. Looking at a video gives them even more. So with that kind of argument and that kind of detail and example, this research done by someone kind of says a video is worth 1.8 million words, and their whole idea of that is behind that quote. The picture's worth 1,000 words. So if the picture's worth 1,000 words, then shooting a video at least 30 frames a second means 30,000 words a second. So 60-second video is worth 1.8 million words. That's a lot of math. We won't do that much math today, but I just wanted to tell you how important it is that you take advantage of this medium for your students, because it offers so much more than a paragraph that they read or a picture they just look at. It's a lot of information that's absorbed in a short amount of time. It can be very meaningful, as you see from this chart. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about video and education, specifically focusing on filming and filming as a way to reach your students. Okay, oftentimes when you think of filming, you think of these expensive cameras that you shouldn't put in the snow. I know it's a nice artsy picture, but you would never want to do that to a camera. You need a camera of some sort to film, to do nice footage for your students. And having something like this makes your job a little bit easier, but you have to learn how to use it, and it costs a lot of money. Or you could go the route of a GoPro or an action type camera that costs significantly less, that offers some good footage as well, and is very portable. But since everyone has, for the most part, I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but everyone has these devices called a phone. And each year these phones get a lot better with camera, and especially video. It is very high quality video. I honestly took my phone, this one right here, on a ski trip, and my GoPro was a few years old, and the phone blew the GoPro footage out of the water, and I just filmed with this. And I gave good high quality video that you were just blown away with, because there's such emphasis on the video cameras nowadays. So everyone really has the ability to film a high quality video for their students with just a phone. And of course, you don't have to have, I displayed an iPhone, but you don't have to have an iPhone. All phones nowadays have high quality cameras that you can take advantage of. And of course, You can always use the webcam from at least a Chromebook or a laptop or a computer, and those would work just fine as well. All right. And I won't talk about too many technical aspects, but for those of you who want to and are curious about filming, if you're especially you're filming long footage with your phones, it takes up space. And depending on the quality of which you film, you can kind of set that depending on what phone you have. But here's a little chart that shows you just at the top, at the very lowest quality that you can change your phone to, each kind of minute takes up some space. And people usually think about gigabytes when they think of space storage. So at the lowest kind of quality of film at the top, it would take up for an hour 3.5 gigs, and that is space, of course. And if you go up in a little bit of quality, the space increases. So having all this on your phone or iPad or computer device can bog it down. But we all have Google for Education accounts, G Suite accounts. So you can always just upload that up into your drive, clear that from your phone, and you don't have to worry about it. So when I say using a phone is really great for filming for your students, you don't have to worry about the space because you can get rid of it right away. All right. So we talked about some of the equipment. Of course, you can use those cameras and GoPros, but honestly, the phone will probably work best for everybody and most convenient. Right. While you're filming with your phones, and since I recommended filming with phones, I wanted to go into some detail, some advice about filming. And I consider myself somewhat of an expert. I do film a number of weddings each year. I do a lot of video editing, and I even taught my students when I taught sixth grade. And I would always, provide a filming project as a way for them to show their learning, of course. And I'd written grants for cameras and whatnot. But honestly, if I had to do it over, I'd probably get like iPods or something because the cameras are so great. And the advice I would give with my students as they film, if they filmed with an iPod or phone, is this is the number one advice that I would give them. So when you're filming yourself, when you're thinking about filming anything for your students, think about this piece of advice. This is how you hold your phone. If you hold it portrait, I promise you people will cry and whatnot. When you hold in portrait and you move the video over for people to watch, there is like to the left and to the right, black kind of blocks that make it very difficult to see sometimes depending on what you're filming because it's not a full screen. So when you turn the phone sideways, people will be less likely to cry because they have a full screen to look at. Whatever you're trying to model, whatever you're getting to them, there's not these black blocks on the left and right that distract them from the content that you're delivering. So turning it sideways is really nice to give them that full kind of view when you're filming. So always film landscape and not portrait. Any questions about that? Yes, Carrie. I know. I can tell people this all the time. I often have video projects, even from teachers and from other side gigs, and I tell them to, if you're sending me video, please do it landscape. There's always a few that come in portrait, and it's a little hard. It's a little more difficult to re-edit that or to ask them to send it over again. So it is something very good to remember. Another trick is lighting. Lighting can be also something that potentially deters any distractions, just deters any misconceptions and whatnot. So when people see things more clearly, it is easier to get the full picture. It's easier to get the idea 100% accurately without any mistakes and distractions. This is an example at the top of uneven lighting when you're filming. You can see that the lighting is on one side of this person's face, creating a lot of shadows, and it's a little distracting. And imagine if you're modeling or you had some physical prop, part of it might be overshadowed and more difficult for people to see. This one is an example of lighting that is too bright and that aims towards the face. It's overpowering and very distracting. And that is also something that you want to consider. This lighting, again, is often to the side. It happens outside, too, when the lighting is behind or at an angle, and it creates a shadow in the face. And that, again, can be very distracting. you want to consider that when you're filming outside. And of course, this is direct behind the film, kind of interview style. This is something that you may stumble upon when you're filming at home. To do it in front of a window, it is also very, I wouldn't say a good idea. You can see that in my little preview here, I've got part of a window, and if I were to film right here, it'd be a little more difficult to see. Whereas the best lighting and what you want to do is create some even lighting behind the person filming. This is an example of even lighting behind me filming. I'm filming outside, of course, so I'm trying to catch the sun behind me. It's a nice quality video, not distracting and whatnot, and you get the full kind of point across. My friend Kevin is crying. That is the full point of that, and you can focus on the concept. Imagine giving your students a nice welcome message. They're focused on the message. They aren't focused on the uneven lighting or shadows on your face. They're getting it. All right, another kind of trick while you film, and again, this is also just to allow your students a nice quality video to watch, or whoever you're allowing to watch this to absorb the content in a less distracting way. And so a lot of the times for phones, it allows you to pinch the screen or expand the screen a little bit to zoom in. And this is my phone filming a music video actually for my friends there. They created this song for biology, and I was filming them. And just for fun, I pinched in to see what it looked like, and it is really blurry. So you can see here, it's not the best quality of video. Really, though, on a phone, just because the camera's so small, you won't get good zoom. But if you were to just walk up close, like I did right here to the bottom right, then your video quality will be much better than that pinch zoom. So when you're thinking of zooming on a phone, pretty much don't do it. Just get a little bit closer if you can. But if you can't, of course, the zoom is, for the most part, it can be okay if you're zooming in a little bit. All right, so sound effects here. It's often nice if you have a mic or you're using some type of microphone that's connected to your phone or whatever device you're recording with. But the most important thing is if you're not using a mic, I'm in a room here that's nice and quiet, the door is closed, and my daughter's not crying, so you can hear me just fine. So my best advice for you is to eliminate any background noise possible, because if you have something going in the background, a lot of times that can distract students, and to eliminate that makes the video you present to them a lot more quality. And again, eliminating those distractions allows them to engage in the content a lot better. Okay, any questions so far about tips and tricks for recording? I'm trying to get you at the spot where you can kind of call yourself an expert of video recording from home. And these are just some little tips and tricks that a lot of times make the difference and allow you to have a nice quality video for your students without any editing. These are tricks that help you kind of set up or set up for success really well. Questions? Remember, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat and I'll reference them later, or you can talk to CJ and Kelly. They're there in the background and they will answer anything that you ask them, even silly questions. There are no silly questions, but yeah. All right. So if you want to be able to film, and you want to be able to film hands-free and you're not like filming a selfie camera like this, then a tripod is often a very good idea. These two tripod examples here are made for the phone, and the one to the left is about $12–15, and the one to the right is a lot more expensive. It's like $30 or $50, but even the option to the left comes with a Bluetooth remote where you can connect to your phone and press it, so you don't have to go back and forth where the tripod is. It's nice to have a tripod because it is better than my arm, because sometimes I don't have the best kind of stabilization because my arm might get tired if I'm filming long, or if I want to use my hands as expression or modeling. It's often good to have hands-free recording, and a tripod is a very good option. At the bottom here, and I'm also going to send this slideshow to you in my follow-up email, but it's kind of a link just to a tripod search on Amazon, And you can see here that the cheapest one's 15 bucks at the top, comes with a little remote, connects to your phone, and there are a ton of different options that you can kind of look through, and some even come with this nice lighting here. But it can be very affordable if you want to buy something like this. That's what I kind of recommend, because it allows you, again, to be hands-free with your recording, and that a lot of times is a very useful thing to do. If you don't want to spend any money, you can also just ask someone to film for you, or you can create something for yourself. This actually is a video and whatnot that teaches you how to create your own stand. This tripod, this stand, I made in like 5 minutes. So I would put the phone right here, and put it on a nice flat surface, and press record, and then run over to the other side and just do my thing. This took me 5 minutes by watching this video, and this is just an example. It's not the only example of a do-it-yourself tripod. You, of course, can prop up your phone with books. You can look on Pinterest. I hear there are a ton of different ideas on there. And of course, there are always things on YouTube, like this video kind of walks you through it.
So if you're just starting out filming yourself bike riding, chances are you're going to be using your phone. So we're going to make the cheapest tripod in the world. Start by measuring the width of your phone on a paper towel roll cardboard thing. I guess that's what it's called. Anyway, snip about a ½ inch inside of those little markings that you made. And then take that little piece of the paper towel roll cardboard thing and fold it up. Now, right up to the marks that you did make, cut a little notch. Then, you're going to get the scissor kind of inside of those notches and make a snip towards the center of the paper towel roll cardboard thing. Fold this entire piece up and cut it off. Now you should have a notch that's the same size as your phone and a little piece of cardboard to keep it in. So this by itself could actually work as a sort of tripod, if you will, even though it doesn't have 3 legs, so it's not technically tripod, but it's going to hold up your phone. So let's be a little bit more ambitious with our engineering and incorporate a paper plate into this design. Just fold one in half and make one snip down the edge to make it flat, and then cut 2 little angled cuts up towards the center. Roughly measure the circumference of your paper towel roll cardboard thing and then cut that out from the center of your paper plate. Now you're going to take your cheap phone tripod and you're going to stick it inside of the plate. You're going to make 2 little folds on the bottom of the plate. Now take the little slivers that we cut off of the plate from the first step and tape them to the bottom of the plate to add some structural integrity to this. Again, this is not precision engineering, but you could probably do a better job than I did. So it's pretty safe to say that this is a little bit more rigid than it was before. At least the wind's not going to knock over your phone. It's going to keep it from just slamming into the pavement.
So that video there was just about 2 minutes, 20 seconds of introduction. And I did this tripod here. I made it while watching the video, and it took me that along as well, about a few minutes to kind of cut it together. And you can see I kind of messed up at the top, but honestly, you could do something like this, super easy, super cheap. If you didn't want to spend money to get your own tripod, that would work just fine. And you can also show it to your students, and I'm sure they would get a kick out of it. All right, so now you have your tripod. Now you have all your good techniques for filming and getting a nice quality video, at least a welcome video for your students. And how do you get that into the Google Drive? How do you get that? I kind of alluded to earlier. You can get rid of your videos and put them in the Drive, and then delete them off your phone. And once they're in the Drive, they're super easy to share. You can email them to your students if that's what you're choosing to do as your medium of communication, of getting assignments, you can put that in your Google Classroom, which would be super easy for them to watch just in your Drive. And that way it's not up in YouTube and it's not up in other places. It's nice and secure, and whoever has the link watches it. So how do you do that? There's a simple and easy way. And this video made by a colleague of ours from Kent ISD explains it super well. And it is as an example from an iPad, and I know that's an Apple device, but it's a very similar process on a Android, on a Google device as well. So we're just going to watch this video, and it's going to show you how to get your film, your footage, your videos from your device onto your Drive, and then you can delete it and save a lot of space on your filming device.
Hi everyone, Ron Houtman, Ed Tech Consultant from Kent ISD, REM C8 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So recently I've been getting a ton of questions from teachers about how to get video that they've recorded out of their iPad into some other place where they can easily share it with their students. So those of you that know the pain of the iPad sometimes is getting videos out of here is a difficult process, especially if you are not within the whole Apple ecosystem, meaning that you've got maybe a Mac and you're able to share the video from here, doing the AirDrop. So most of our teachers are just like, how do I get it out of here? I can't email it because the files are too big. So we have a pretty easy process here for you using the Google Drive application, Google Drive app, and your school Google account. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of how to take any video or pictures for that matter, anything that's in your photo gallery out of your iPad, upload them into your Google Drive, and then from there you can easily share that link of the resulting file, could be a video, could be a picture, to your students through Google Classroom. Just email your parents, however you choose to do that. So we're going to go walk through the steps. The first thing to do is visit the App Store on your iPad and go install the Google Drive app if it's not already installed. Once you've installed the app, launch it and touch the sign in button. If you already have your existing school account on your iPad, you can just choose the existing Google account. If not, touch Add Another Account. If you're adding another account, you might see this pop up that asks for your permission. Go ahead and click the Continue button. As you continue this process, you're going to sign into your G Suite for Education, also known as your school Google account. Put your username and password on the next page. Well, you've almost made it. Now just navigate back to the Google Drive app, and now you can select the folder where you'd like to start uploading your videos. I like to create a new folder in my Google Drive called Videos, because then I can just find where all my videos are. Neat, huh? All right, look down in the bottom right-hand corner of the interface. You'll see a little plus sign. Touch that, and then touch Upload. As soon as you touch Upload, you'll see the Photos and Videos link at the bottom of your iPad or iOS screen. Touch that. So if this is the first time you're doing it, it'll ask you for some permissions. In future times, you won't need to do this, but just touch OK. Now just find the folder where your video that you recorded lives. Most of the time, it's under Videos. This is where your patience will come into play. It's now processing your upload. See the little black box at the bottom? We're finally uploading. That little circle in the bottom left-hand corner of your video is just showing how long it might take. Right, you'll see the little black box now. It shows that your uploads have completed. Again, remember that this might take a little while. Okay, so we've done the upload from my iPad into my Google Drive using the Google Drive app. And now I'm in my Chrome browser looking at where the files have ended up. A couple ways you can figure this out. One is if on your iPad you actually selected the folder in which you've created, like mine is video as an example, and that's where you're sending your files. You can easily find them in there. If you didn't remember where you put your files, one of the easiest tools and tricks is just to use the recent button over here on the left in your Google Drive, and it'll show you what has ended up in your Google Drive. Remember, this might take a little while to stream or upload from your iPad through your wireless connection at your house or wherever you might be, and then get into your Google Drive. Many times the upload speed out of our connections is way slower than download speed into our connections. So just know that. Another real big positive here is that instead of forcing your users to download a copy of your video, the way that Google Drive works is it actually streams it, and it does it and it pays a little of attention to the end user's bandwidth also. So you can easily now link to any of the videos that you might have inside your Google Drive. So the way that we do this, the last part is if I have a video like this one and I want to share it with my students or other people, you have to just change the permissions on this and give them a link. So the easiest way to do this is select a file and highlight it. In the toolbar, you'll see a Get Shareable Link icon. If you click that, mine is already set the correct way, but if yours is not, you want to do link sharing on. I'm going to go to sharing settings, and I'm going to change this so where it says link sharing on, anyone with a link can view. If yours doesn't say that, just click this little drop down. And if it's not listed there, go to the word more, and in more, change link sharing to anyone with the link can view. And that means anybody. They don't need a Google account. They need no account at all. So once I have that selected, I just click save. I copy this little link. It's now in my clipboard. Click done. And now I can share that link with anybody. For example, if I just paste that link up here, you'll see really quickly that this video file is now able to be shared with anybody. Very ominous, I know. So those are your steps. If you have any questions about how to go through this process.
So that is a way to kind of get the videos once you're shooting with your tripod and using all the good techniques I talked about earlier to get rid of your videos on your device and to put it right onto your drive. And like Ron said, Google's so great where you could just get a shareable link. If your students are old enough, you could email it to them. If you use any type of LMS like Schoology, Seesaw, or Google Classroom, you can easily get the video link to them. They could watch it and then absorb the content for your students and whatnot. Any questions about that process? I know that we are watching a video and his just sums it up very nicely. If I were to do this on my end, I would have to hook up a lot of different devices and share them with you. But yeah, any questions about that process? It's pretty streamlined once you do it at least once. Okay, remember, if you do have questions, feel free to put it in the chat. You can unmute your mic and ask. Other than that, we're going to move on and talk about editing. Sometimes you might want to edit your footage and maybe add in some transitions or add in some different stock footage or pictures that you found online to talk through some concepts with your students. I'm not going to spend too much time on a specific video editor because all you have different devices. There are video editors on an iPhone, on an iPad. There are video editors on a PC, on a Mac, and all of them are, for the most part, similar in kind of one sense. If you're doing video editing, chances are you're going to have media options at the top. You're going to have a space for your media where you can kind of just click and drag to the timeline or canvas, and this is where you layer things, you add in text, you add in music, and then there's a preview screen and an effect screen at the top, so then you can kind of further add things into the video that you're editing. This is a little more time consuming, it's a little more intense. I find it really fun. Some people find it a little overwhelming. That's why if you were able to just use your phone with a tripod, you can just do the most low, kind of low stakes editing there is. On an iPhone, you can kind of clip beginning and end and parts of the middle, but there's only one clip. So if you messed up at the beginning or end, that could be something very easily to clip off. But if you wanted to like snip out lots of pieces and add them together, editing is the way to go. Otherwise, just kind of get great at doing it in one take or being okay with your mess ups or little mistakes, which is totally fine. It shows students that you're human and it's less editing and time on you. But if you wanted to do something extra, I am going to talk and touch on some different resources you could use to help you edit and add in effects and use music and whatnot. Okay, this is another example here. It's WeVideo, and I often talk about this one, especially this time, because they're offering a kind of, they're a freemium, of course. You get 2 gigabytes of storage a month, and then you have 5 minutes to edit and whatnot. So if you're not doing a lot of video editing, you're doing just a little bit, you can do that. They have an educator discount, and I'll detail this in my follow-up email. And there's also kind of a COVID-19 deal running. I'm not quite sure what it is because it kind of changes a little bit from time to time, but they offer some some type of deal. And this is cloud-based. It can be done on a Chromebook. It can be done anywhere, any device. And also it's great for students. So if you had an assignment where you wanted your students to kind of try out video, you could post a bunch of tutorials and have them try it out too. And this is a nice kind of option because they do a lot with education. I often talk about them because it works on any device, and students are able to use this too. I'll share an example. If a student can edit this, one of my 6th graders, and turn in a nice quality project, and then you can do it too. This is actually a project that they had on women's role in ancient China, and where they kind of made a very short video. And I wanted to go back to my quote from the beginning: a video is worth 1.8 million words. You're going to get a lot from this short video versus, reading a couple of sentences or just seeing a couple pictures.
For women in ancient China, life was very tough. They weren't allowed to have an education, speak for themselves, or even own themselves. Men, on the other hand, compared to women, had a life the complete opposite. Women could not remarry, or they would be killed. They could not be in the army, or they would be killed.
I am ready to serve the Emperor.
Father, you can't go! Please, sir. My father has already fought for you.
You would do well to teach your daughter to hold her tongue in a man's presence. Mulan, you dishonor me.
In every stage of their lives, they were controlled by men. Before marriage, it was the father. After marriage.
So I showed you about a minute of the video, and you got a lot from the video. They, of course, use some copyrighted information, but with fair use, it was totally fine. It was actually a good conversation to have as far as filming, but it goes on for another 40 seconds and adds some valuable information. But that is a product that students made, and something that a 6th grader, generally you don't consider a 6th grader being able to do something like this, but with a little bit of practice and some using not just WeVideo, but any type of video editor available to you, you can make a similar type project for your students. All right, so music, a lot of the times music kind of sets the mood for videos, and even if you just wanted to play music in the background while you record with your phone, that you can do that as well. But if you want to be able to take advantage of music when you're using a video editor like WeVideo, what's really great is YouTube offers a completely free library of video or of songs that you can search for, sound effects that you can search for and use in your videos. And there are oftentimes thousands of songs and effects that you can download and use right in your videos. You can filter from genre, from mood, type of instrument if you're looking for a certain type of background music, duration and time. There are oftentimes for your videos that could be anywhere from 30 seconds to longer than 5 minutes. So they have that option to search for. Attribution means if you kind of say, hey, the song's from one person, or if you click on no attribution required, you can just use the music without any strings attached. And they're oftentimes pretty great background music that you can add in. Imagine that in the background of your video. Very inspirational. But yeah, this is a great resource for music in the background for a lot of your videos. I use it quite often, and all you need to do is click download, and you can see it started to download right on my computer, ready for me to use. So that is YouTube Music Library. Again, I will send you these slides, and you'll have all the links that I will send out detailed in the email as well. That's a wonderful resource that you can take advantage of and just use. All right, so with any type of professional development, it is great to be able to listen, to see it, and to hear about it, but the best thing is to experience it. When I was a 6th grade teacher, I didn't have any experience in video editing, and it started from wanting to show my students that throughout the year they had just amazing experiences, fun times, and great learning opportunities. So I started to film with just a phone. It was an iPhone, I think 6 or maybe 4 at the time, and I started filming landscape, of course, not portrait. And I started filming throughout the year, and I sliced together all these different footages that I got. And on the last day of school, I would show it to them, and the response I got from that video, from my really crappy first attempt at video editing and filming, they got such an emotional response and connected to it so well that I saw what a powerful thing video can be for students and can be for education, and everyone can do it because they have, for the most part, a phone of some sort, and there are options out there to edit and whatnot. Sometimes it's free depending on your device. Of course, you have that cloud device agnostic WeVideo, which is also a good option. But a lot of the times, if you have a Mac, iMovie is completely free, and it allows you to edit and put in fancy things like transitions and fading things in and out. If you just have a phone or an iPad, Clips is super easy and provides you with a nice tool to shoot really high quality videos. Of course, WeVideo, like I said before, works on any type of device. There's a tool called Adobe Spark that's a lot more simple, that works on any device, but doesn't give you as much of an option. PC, there used to be a thing called Windows Movie Maker, but now it's just the video editor in the Photos app, and you can kind of look there if you're interested. But these will be sent to you. I'm actually going to paste this right into the chat now, and for the next little bit of time, I'll say probably a few minutes, you can look at which one of these you're interested in and kind of just maybe click on one of them. And if you have any questions about them, the next 5 minutes or so, you can kind of ask. So I'll just say, for 5 minutes, kind of look at some of these links. And this is slide. Which slide is this? This is slide 27. So if you were to click on the link that I just put right into the chat, it's slide 27. Just take a look at those different video editing tools and tell me what you think about iMovie Clips or the PC video editor or the cloud-based WeVideo. And any questions you have about any of these, let me know, and I can try to answer them. If there's something more that you want, we try to separate some things, some other tools that are useful for video editing, but they're more screencasting. So that's classified in another training. If you're interested in screen casting or screen recording, where you record what's on your computer, we have a separate training for that later on this week, and that one's also really beneficial and can help you create videos as well. We just kind of separated that a little bit because that in itself is a longer topic and whatnot. So just take 5 minutes and look at that. Okay, so that's about 5 minutes. Did anyone have any specific questions on any of these? I know it was a quick 5 minutes. We are limited in time for this training, so I am going to have to move on and kind of show one last thing before we move into general questions about the whole topic. Any questions about any of the tools that I kind of put up there? I know we had a couple in the chat. Okay, so you're interested in clips. Yes, so yeah, so there are a lot of different filters in clips that make it so it's very nice to be able to record easily. Clips is kind of Apple's response to iMovie. iMovie is very traditional. It's very video editor, and using it on a phone especially is not wonderful. So they created clips, which is very easy to use and also has like AR component to it where you can change the background. Like if I were to turn on clips now and record myself, I could be on another planet or on the water, provided that my iPad and phone are a little bit newer. And of course, there are filters to make your face look like a pastel painting or a cartoon or a black and white noir film. And clips is very nice to use as well. It's very easy. And of course, anyone with an iPhone can have it for free. Yeah, so the whole emoji thing over your face with a newer phone, that can happen as well. But Clips is super easy to just record. All you would need to do is hit the red button once you download the app. It's just called Clips, and the moment you hold the red button, it records it, and then you press play, and you see a preview of what's going on. The whole animated version thing, it kind of helps a lot of people record when it's not actually your face, but it's their face. So that's a nice little feature if you don't want to show your face. But yeah, you can kind of see as well, Clips has what's a great speech to text feature, like a closed captioning type thing. If you see this person right here, they turned it on, and as they record, that appears right in the bottom of their recording. So it's a very great option to make a high quality video for your students. And of course, lots of different effects to transition and engage your students to make it a nice, really professional or next level video with these transitions or posters that you can put in. Very nice. And also, here's the kind of AR feature I was talking about. A newer iPad or phone has that, and she is every which way in different kind of settings in the sky and Frankenstein's lab. So it's very great and easily shareable to anyone with a phone. Of course, on these little icons here, if you have the Drive app, you can upload it right to your Drive, share it with your students on Google Classroom or anything like that. But it is kind of, keep in mind, it is kind of in a square type view. So it's like an Instagram-y video. And I think it was kind of made with that intent. So you can show it to your students. It will be in a square. It's totally fine because it's super easy to use. So good question about Clips. It's a great tool and very easy to use. And also a lot of the times very fun if students have access to any iPad or anything like that to use as well. Good point. Thanks for bringing that up, Kelly. It is a nice thing to have available if you have an Apple device. Completely free, very great, fun filters and whatnot. All right, any other questions about some of the tools I talked about? All right, if you do and you remember them later, feel free to email me. I'll answer it. But I wanted to show you like the last example, and it kind of is a plug for our screencasting training as well. This is a Google Classroom, and of course, here's an example of me sharing a video I filmed very easily. Students just click on it, they watch it. But I wanted to show you an example of a welcome message that I created. Kind of goes to the idea of what we talked about earlier. A picture is worth 1,000 words, but a video is worth 1.8 million words, right? So I could, in this welcome message, say, hello, hope you're doing okay so far this week. Today we're starting our unit on central idea and supporting details. Click on classwork to begin. That is at the very simple very easy welcome message. If I were to leave that and not say anything, I think my students would get it. They'll go right to classwork and try to figure things out. If I added more details of what to do first and whatnot, it would be better for them. If I added pictures of where to go, that would be even better. But here's a video. It's a combination of recording my screen, my face, and a combination of recording the screen. So if you want to do this, you would come to our training on Thursday and have a good time with me again. But here we are. And all students have to do is click on this. Of course, I can read this as well as flavored text, but to get the full message, they would click on the video that I made for them.
Welcome, everybody. This is the first week back, and we are going to start things off virtually. I hope everything, first off, is going well at home, but we are excited to have you back in some capacity using Google Classroom. So many of you are going to start from Google, so just go to google.com. It's easy enough to get to. And this waffle iron right here is what we call the waffle menu. And once you click on that, there should be a Google Classroom icon. You'll click on that and then go straight to ELA 6th grade. Some of your other teachers might have invited you to class, so you have a lot. You recognize my picture in the background and, of course, our class subject and first hour. When you click on that, you're going to be at the stream, and that is where I'm going to post announcements and directions and some materials. We're mostly going to access all the work materials from classwork, and then from here, you're going to engage in discussion. And there's 2 questions I have for you to work through this week. And then for central ID.
So that, again, was a minute of the video that I'm showing you. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but goes back to the idea that video is a better medium to connect to your students, whether you're recording just yourself saying it, or you're showing your screen, or just giving some type of project or information, whether it be modeling or just to clarify something to your students. It's good to just use and record video in any way possible, because it, again, allows them to connect to something. You can see my face in this example as I walk them through this whole Google Classroom. If you were to use Clips or iMovie or just record with your phone and just talk to them, it allows for that personal connection in a time where personal connection is probably really needed for a lot of your students. And the great thing about a recorded piece, a file of some sort, is it's not live. So if you're thinking of Google Meet or Zoom or WebEx, whatever you have it, all those tools are very similar, but there is also a variable of the live aspect of it being uncertain. There are some things that could go really well and you could have amazing experiences, or there are some kinks, right? Maybe all your students don't have devices, or they don't have access to devices that can work with live streaming, or there might be some glitches. People might accidentally hop on. It's just a little more controlled when you provide them with a nice recorded video and a nice way to just connect to you through clicking play. And then if they didn't get it, they can kind of go back and rewatch it and absorb that information a lot better. So that is kind of my plug for recording and using recording and video in distance learning. It's a good thing to take advantage of. And screencasting, of course, will show you how to do a video similar to this. And that's another training for Thursday. There's also other tools out there that provide face-to-face discussion like Flipgrid, and that's entirely another training that we provide, and that's on Wednesday morning. And Flipgrid is really great, where you can have a conversation with your students, not live, and then whatnot, and add in different stimuli for them to engage in. Again, not live. I think having a classroom meeting is great. That's why we have another training that offers you some tips and tricks and how to use Google Meet, especially in safe ways and for office hours and whatnot. But I often gravitate towards recordings, screencastings a lot more than live kind of sessions with students. But yeah, any questions about anything we've talked about today? We have this last 9 minutes or so where you can ask questions, or if you want to, move on and play with all the awesome video editing tools, or make your own amazing stand like I did here, you can, right? It's a few minutes. But hey, any questions, feel free to ask during this time, or you can contact me at a later time. This recording will be available to you in sometime midday or before then, and then you can watch it to your heart's content, furthering the idea that video is a great medium to connect to concepts, because you can rewind and watch me show my amazing do-it-yourself tripod. I actually have a really nice tripod at home, but I prefer this one right here. I'm just kidding. I prefer the tripod, but that is also fun to have. Okay. If you don't have any other questions or comments or anything like that, it has been a great time with all of you. And yes, if there's something specific, like Carrie just asked about iMovie and she wants a personal kind of session with that, I'm definitely open to doing that. We just schedule something like this. I'll send you an invite and I'll walk you through whatever needed. And again, I have experience with most of these video editing tools, and I can kind of walk you through it. So, all right. Well, if nothing else, have a great day. And it was wonderful kind of hearing some of you, seeing your icons, and having you attend this training. All right.